Alright guys, now let's talk about the SVG format. The SVG is a newly introduced format which is a vector based image. The quality of SVG format does not affect by resizing, unlike other formats. The other formats like PNG or JPG loses its quality once we resize it. We will see how SVG format does not loses its quality when we resize it, but other formats like PNG and JPG loses its quality when we resize it. But before that, let's talk about SVG format in more detail. So first of all, we will see how we can embed an SVG format inside our page. So to embed SVG format, actually there are two approaches. For example, if you are working on any drawing inside Illustrator or a Sketch app, you can actually embed that particular design exactly inside your page. For example, here I have taken an image that I have taken from the CSS tricks. Here is that article and here is that image. This is the article about the SVG format. So if you would like to go in more details, you can check out these articles. I'll provide the link below. So we are working on this image. So here I have taken that image inside a Sketch app. Now if we want to embed this image inside our page, so the first approach is we can copy the code. Actually the whole SVG can be converted into a code. So here you can see that there is a copy SVG code. Now let's copy this code here. Now we can paste that particular code inside our HTML document. So let's paste it here. So let's make it off. Let's get rid of this for now. So here we have that code which we have copied. Actually this is a normal HTML tag SVG. So to embed an SVG we use SVG tag. So SVG tag is also consists of different attributes. This is actually a HTML code here. So now as we have pasted our code inside the HTML document, now let's see how our page looks like. Here we have that page. Right now on our page there is nothing. Give it a refresh. Here we have that image. So we are getting this image from the SVG tag or SVG code that we have used here. This is one of the way that we can take to embed an SVG image. So you can copy the SVG code. You can also do same thing inside Illustrator also. There can be a different approach to embed the code or copy the code, but the whole and soul remains same. You can actually copy the code of the drawing and then paste it inside your HTML document. You will see that particular image. We can also embed a SVG image using IMG element. So for that purpose, what we will do, we will export that particular image, or if you are downloading any SVG image in your project folder, you can use IMG element. So here I am exporting this drawing here in SVG format. So if I click here, we'll get an option to save this file. So I am saving this SVG file inside the media folder inside our project folder. So here we have, let's type kiwi. Now save it. So here we have got our image. So if you look at here, so here we have that kiwi.svg. So if I click here again, we will see that code. So that's the SVG code for that kiwi. Now to embed the SVG image using IMG element, we will take now that our traditional approach. So using IMG element, inside the src attribute we will define the path. So let's go inside the assets, media, and we have kiwi.svg. Now inside the alt attribute, let's define kiwi, save it. Now let's have a look here. Okay, here we have that SVG element. So this image is coming through the SVG code and this image is coming through IMG element. We can also use the SVG image file as a background image. So let's experiment that also. So for that purpose, here after this IMG element, let's take a div, apply some class, maybe SVG box, save it, and let's target this SVG box inside our style.css file. So let's split our editor. So here we will target this SVG box. So let's say SVG box, and inside the SVG box we will define normal styles, width and height, then only we can see a background image. So for that purpose, let's define width, say let it be width 100% by default, as div is a block level element, so we don't need to apply also. So let's define some height, say 400 px. Now save it and let's apply our background image. So to apply background image we use URL function, and inside the URL function we will go inside the media folder and then we will use kiwi.svg. Now save it. Also we'll apply a border so that we can see where is our box. 6 pixel solid black. So instead of saying black, actually let's say crimson. Now save it. Let's see our box here. Give it a refresh. Here we have. So as we can see, let's increase the height. We'll say 600 px. Okay, here. So here we have that div on which we have applied background image, that kiwi.svg. So as it is a background image, by default it is repeating. We can get rid of this repeating. We can say here no repeat, or we can use background image, or we can use background repeat property. So if we are saying a shorthand value, so we can use shorthand property. So let's see here we have, now it is not repeating. And as we can use different properties for the background image, similarly here also we can use. So let's apply background position, let's say center, save it, then give it a refresh. Here we have in the center to this div or SVG box. Alright guys, so these are the three different approach which we can take to embed SVG image. So among them, the interesting part is that if we are taking the SVG code approach that we have taken here, the SVG code, so we can actually modify the image inside CSS. We can target these SVG tags, G or anything. We can use different properties and values over those tags. So for example, let's change the actually field color for the path here. So let's target our path here, and we'll say the field property, and we can say any color, let's say aqua. Now save it, then give it a refresh. Here we can see this image we are getting using SVG code, and so that's why we can target those tags inside the style.css file, and we can play around with the fill or position, or we can apply different classes on those tags. So let's change different background this time. We'll say chocolate. Now save it and give it a refresh. Perfect. Here we have, if we are using SVG code. The best thing about the SVG format is that it does not loses its quality when we resize it, unlike other formats. So let's experiment that thing also. So we will have different formats of the image. So first of all, let's get rid of all of these. Let's use just one, that img tag actually. So let's get rid of this SVG tag also. Save it. Let's have a look. Here we have that SVG image using img element. Now let's take another images also, all of these format. So img sets media, we already have kiwi.svg. Let's take ziffy.zip. Here let's say Ziffy and other formats, JPG. Let's collapse this. The last format, PNG. Now let's have a look of our page. Alright guys, so this is our SVG format and this is our ZIF format, this is the JPG, and at the end we have our PNG format. So now what we will experiment is that we will resize all of these images and we'll see which image loses its quality and which does not. So for that purpose here we'll target our, so let's get rid of this path also. Let's target our IMG element here. We'll define the width actually. Let's say 1200 px. Now save it, give it a refresh. Okay, here we have. So this is our SVG format. You will find here this SVG format is maintaining its quality. The quality is not breaking, but if you look at here, we can see there are some dot. These images are getting pixelated actually. So here that zip format, similarly this football.jpg and this PNG format also. So each and every images is losing its quality. Even right now we cannot see much difference inside the JPG file. Let's increase the width a bit more. Let's say 1800 px. Save it and give it a refresh. Here we have. Now again you can see the difference. The SVG format is still maintaining its quality. That's the best thing about the SVG format. Image will not get pixelated whether you increase the size or even you make it large enough, then also it will maintain its quality. So that's why nowadays the SVG formats are being more preferred than other formats. Although these formats are also being used, but the SVG formats are being more preferred. Here we can see that GIF is losing its quality. Similarly, this JPG format and this PNG format. Let's get back to normal here. Give it a refresh. Alright, so these are the different formats, JPG, PNG, SVG, ZIF, that we can embed on our page.